Hello everyone and welcome back. Last time we were here we were talking about the invaders host of Slaanesh. Today we'll talk about the Godseekers. With that said, the new book's coming out this month. I don't know if it's going to change any of the stuff we're going to talk about, but I don't think it will. But if it does, I'll be sure to make another video and discussing the changes and how they're different from what we're talking about today and until the book comes out and what the book says. With that said, the Godseekers are the Charioteers and the Speedseekers. They believe Slaanesh can be found wherever he is and kill whoever has her. This is not because of some undying love for their god, but more of one of selfishness. They believe once they find her and release her, they will become her most favorite. Rumors of the god's location will stir them up into a frenzy of excitement and work them up to a point of religious ecstasy. The blessings received by the Godseekers are usually somehow increasing their sensory organs, exaggerating them, having flaring nostrils or raw and open nasal cavities are common, as well as bulging eyes, pointed ears, and flicking tongues. These new organs transcend the normal human limits, and these heightened senses make the Godseekers far better hunters. Being able to easily track flying creatures as if they were earthbound prey, follow a vessel's path across open ocean, and even regain the trail of a creature that sought escape through a realm gate. This is possible because the blessings of Slaanesh allow for the chosen to taste souls, smell emotions, and even see the formation of ideas and innovations as tiny flares of light. The Godseekers like to hunt down and extract information from kings, sorcerers, seers, in the hopes that they could get something that could lead them to their god, or an artifact that might also help them reach their god in some way. Because of the targets, that means the Godseekers are drawn to more established cities with large armies. So instead of going and doing a prolonged siege, they prefer to strike at their target while they're moving. Often, their target, given that they are of significant value, tend to have a army with them. So they like to do a hit-and-run tactic. And even when badly outnumbered, they will commit to the attack with a single-minded dedication, charging into the enemy's ranks without a care for their own safety. If they should break themselves on their defenses, they will have died in an act of sub-excess that allows them to come closer to Slaanesh than ever before. As mentioned, they do not look to free Slaanesh out of any pure love for the god, but rather they want to be her right hand. They either do not understand Slaanesh as a fickle god, or they pretend he isn't. If the Godseekers do realize the fact that he is fickle, they do not openly admit it, and would do anything to sit by her side once she ascends her throne once again. Those who step in the way of this goal will face an assault of blades as they carve their way through whoever wishes to see them fail. And those who are beneath their efforts are placed upon the wheels of excruciation. These living blades spin in the air and tear into mortal creatures and turning them into slivers of bleeding flesh. The Godseekers have been gathering in Golgu more than any other realm. The vast majority of the Godseekers that are within Olgu don't have much of a plan or strategy. Some run into roiling banks of gloom, never to be seen again, or lay siege at Hagnar only to be broken by Marathi. However, there are a few who are more cunning. Gethorex, the Realm Strider, was amongst the cunning followers of Slaanesh and Olgu. He was a native, but he had taken his Godseekers host across many realms where he had slain kings and toppled empires. He indulged in vices beyond counting and subjugated himself to every triumph and agony imaginable. He had also drawn the attention of mounted host, both mortal and demonic, as well as a score of demonette handmaidens to help him. However, with all he had achieved and all he had done, he could not achieve his ultimate goal of immortality. So, he took it upon himself to succeed where so many others had failed. Olgu quivered with the essence of Slaanesh, but to search the entirety of the realm would be impossible. But, as Gethrax observed the resurgent crusade of the Daughters of Cain, particularly through the umbral veil, a suspicion began to formulate. By consulting his demonic allies and allowing a true sensation seeker's instincts to guide him, Gethrax realized that many of the shadow paths aligned with areas where Slaanesh's trace was especially intense. One strong point in particular, pulsed with the essence of excess, reveled in whispers to be the Black Tower of Kirin Tar. Gethrax, rather than heading straight to the Black Tower of Kirin Tar, went for other Black Towers that controlled less vital nodes of the Shadow's paths, and were garrisoned by less experienced Scatborn. Attacking without warning, thundering through the gloom towards the defenders of the Dark Towers, Melusai were eviscerated beneath the shredding apparatus of demonic chariots or spitted upon barbed spears of the whooping Hellstriders. Chimerae who sought refuge in the air were assaulted by demonettes scaling the angular walls of the towers. These creatures hurled themselves through the air and dragged their leathery winged foes to a painful doom. Those of the Scathborn who survived the initial onslaught were soon captured by the depraved Hedonites. Here, Morathi's haste worked against her. By expanding her army so swiftly, she had not allowed enough time to fully excise the taint of corruption from her reborn handmaidens. Under horrific torture, the worshippers of Slaanesh were able to discover the dark power lurking in the soul of each Scathborn. The revelation only further confirmed Gethrax's belief. The Daughters of Cain had something to do with Slaanesh's disappearance, and if he had to slay each and every Aelf to discover what that was, then so be it. Pausing only to subjugate Scathborn to a hideous demise, their captured soul essence burning with agony, the Godseekers set off for the Tower of Kirin Tar. There, they swore to discover the truth of the Dark Prince's disappearance, or, at the very least, leave a mighty offering for him in the debased remains of their foes. I know this was less ranty and rambly than usual. I mean, with my precedented 3 videos before this one. But I found the story of the Godseekers very interesting. I actually didn't look into any of it beforehand because I thought Pretenders were the best all the way. But I like the detail that they have with it, with the the organs and their senses being heightened beyond anything human. Being able to track flying creatures or open ships or even through realm gates, I thought that was really cool. And then with the Shadow and Pain lore that is about Gethrax, I thought that was a really fun story to read. And I didn't see many people, well, I only saw one person actually go over the lore of him on YouTube, and I thought maybe his story should be shared a little bit more, so I wanted to add that in there. I really am looking forward to the new Slaanesh book when it comes out. I think we're going to see a lot more from the Godseekers because Sigvald is being released with it, and I don't see him being a pretender to the throne, and I don't see him just being an invader. I really think he would fall into the Godseeker niche of looking to free Slaanesh, if that's still going to be an issue at the end of Broken Realms. Maybe Slaanesh will be free by then, and this will be a whole different shake-up situation. But like I said, if that happens, I'll come back and make a new video and going over the changes of the lore. It seems like Slaanesh mortal followers and demonic followers are learning where and how Slaanesh is being kept and imprisoned. You'd think Archeon would have shared this with more people, so instead of when he had to run away in Wrath of the Everchosen, well, not run away, but had to leave Slaanesh behind to go defend the Allpoint, someone else could have gone and tried to help and secure Slaanesh. I don't know. Seems like something you'd think would be done, but it wasn't. maybe we'll get more answers with that in the Broken Realms. I'm really looking forward to it. Um, with that said, we can go over the community article about what happened with the new stuff. Uh, it goes over in the community article. It talks about who the Hedonites are, with the Guard of Depravity being in prison long ago. Some of the most mortal beings in the absence. They each fractured and got into different groups. That's pretty cool. Some are wandering according to their own whim. Others are looking for Slaanesh, which we talked about with the Godseekers. Um, the nature of Slaanesh they talk about, saying it's the most insidious of the Chaos Gods, which I thoroughly enjoy. I like that subtle corruption that you don't notice until it's too late type of thing. Those stories are my favorite. Talks about how Slaanesh's temptations are impossibly subtle, and a fondness for fine or exotic cuisine, or a shameful habit hidden from prying eyes, a swelling pride in one's own martial skill, all lead to the same place, which is Slaanesh. Then it talks about Sigvald the Magnificent, which is a nice, interesting read. It talks about how he was locked in a prison like Slaanesh, and how Sigvald's obsessed with himself, but he has a shame of wanting to exact his revenge against Nagash, which I find very weird that it's a hidden shame for Sigvald. Is it because it's almost overwhelming his desire to find Slaanesh, and he'd prefer to go exact his revenge? Is that why it's shameful? Or is it shameful because he was captured and imprisoned at all? But he wants to go and destroy the Osiarch Empire to deliver a great blow against the Necromancer. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun story watching OBR go against not only Teclis but also Sigvald at the same time. But with that said, this was a great talk. I had fun making the video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time.